Hey everyone, this is Ellen. I've been camping for the past few days with a women's meetup group, Lulu's Way, and I met a lovely lady named Dionne who has her own channel, Dionne's Journey, and she wanted to see how I forage for mushrooms. I found a whole bunch of black trumpet mushrooms across the street, and let's go find some. There are so many mushrooms here in the woods, but only some of them are edible. Look at all these mushrooms. Look at these big boys. Oh, look at this beautiful, beautiful mushroom. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. This one, I believe, is a rusula, and it just like crumbles. Yeah, that is a rusula. Look at this beautiful mushroom. Wow. Look at those spots. Gorgeous. So we're getting to the area that I saw the black trumpets. When we got here on Sunday, I unpacked my van because I'm doing minivan camping for like the first time. I unpacked my van and set it up, and then I went foraging, and I found all these black trumpet mushrooms, and I was so excited because it was my first time finding black trumpet mushrooms. And then I cooked them up, and some of the women were brave enough to try them and thought they were really good. And then 2 days later, there was someone interested in foraging. So I took her out into the woods, and I think I needed to go this way. And we foraged some mushrooms for her. And then another lady came and wanted to get some of the black trumpet mushrooms because she also had never found them in person. So we went out and gathered some more for her, and I told them that I would gather mine on my way home because there were so many, and a lot of them were still pretty small. So I wanted to give them a chance to grow some more before I got them. Okay, I think we are finally in the right area. Let's have a good look. So I gotta slow down so that we can really look. Here's some ghost pike coming up. But that's not what we want. Oh, here are some black trumpets. Here we go. Here are some black trumpet mushrooms. These are a little young, but yeah, we'll pick them because I don't know when I'm going to be back. And what I like to do is snip off the ends. Just keeps the amount of dirt going on the mushrooms. Keeps it down a little bit, just a little cleaner. And I'm going to put them in my foraging bag, which is just an old pillowcase. But you want a cloth bag. You don't want a plastic bag because mushrooms will get yucky and bacteria will start to grow. So now that we found a spot with some black trumpets, there are generally more in the area. So let's look around here. Oh, here's some more. Here's one. There's another small one. then hopefully we'll find a big field area of them. They seem to be growing in groups when I found them. And I didn't find any chanterelles or lion's mane or chicken of the woods. Ooh, this one that's kind of nice and big. Got a twofer here. These are beautiful. So I cooked them up and they were really good. All I did to cook them was, at first I washed them off because I believe in washing mushrooms. I know some people don't, but you know, animals come by and pee on them and other critters walk on them. And wow, yeah, I'm definitely in the area now. And there are, you know, insects that are really small and you don't see them until, you know, you see them floating in the water all of a sudden, but you know, you didn't even know that the insects were on there. So I like to wash mushrooms, even if it's someplace, you know, from someplace that, you know, I know doesn't spray or anything like that. There is so much happening in the woods right now. Look at these puffballs that are just starting. I'll be back for these in maybe a week. Look at these beautiful ones over here. Yeah, this one's a look at the pores instead of gills. And these guys growing on the log. Beautiful. So these are edible, but I heard that you have to peel them and boil them and do some other stuff to them, and that's way more than I want to do, so I just leave them. And let's see if I can find my foraging bag. I put it down somewhere to go look for more mushrooms. You can see all the orange spores on the ground where they made a mess of themselves, sporulating all over themselves. Oh, here's some ghost pipe. So ghost pipe is on the endangered list, and it's not a fungus, it's a parasitic plant, and people gather them while the heads are still turned down. Once the heads are facing up, then it's too late for them, and they put them in ethanol, and they make a tincture of them. Use a few drops at a time for pain relief, but if you use too much, it's poisonous. So I stay away from those, just like all the boletes, that some of them are poisonous, some of them are not, and even though some of the ones that are edible don't taste very good, and some of them are delicious. So I don't know which are which, I just leave them all alone. Look at the mess these guys made all over themselves. Absolutely incredible. And if I can find my foraging bag, I'll show you all of the Black Trumpet mushrooms that I found. Let's see where I left it. I went off looking for mushrooms. But let's see if we find any Black Trumpets on the way. They tend to like the ferns, at least here. They tend to be around the ferns and near fallen wood. So let's go back over to that sort of area. so many. But also with all of these mushrooms, there's a lot of competition. So I've found that a lot of times the black trumpets aren't growing in exactly the same area as where there are these dense concentrations of other mushrooms. Oh, there's my bag. And look at all of these. Woohoo! Because I've been collecting the large and medium ones and thinking I'll come back in another week or so for the small ones. And there's no rain predicted in the next week, so I'm not sure how that'll go. Wow. Forest is popping. Here's my bounty. I collected 1.4 pounds of black trumpet mushrooms. I am so excited. And now it's time to soak them in some salt water to get rid of the bugs. I always wash my mushrooms. I know people say you shouldn't wash mushrooms, but you know, they're washed by nature, and these don't have gills or the pores like the boletes, so they won't soak up the water and become waterlogged like the boletes will, and it will get rid of all the bugs that I can't see and the dirt, and who knows what animals have gone by and peed on them. So I always wash my mushrooms. Anyway, I'm gonna go do that and then cook them up. I'm not finding a lot of bugs, which is great, but I am finding pine needles, and it's been easier to pick them out with the water because I can just agitate them and see the pine needles easier. But look how murky that water is now. So it's partially because of the color from the black trumpets. Here are all the black trumpet mushrooms that have been soaked and then rinsed, and let's put them on some clean dish towels to dry a little bit. And I don't see any other critters or pine needles or other things you might find mixed in with them, so I think we are good. I'll just let them dry out a little bit. Let's cook up these black trumpets. Look at all of this. They're still a little wet, but you know, mushrooms have a lot of water in them, so they're going to release a lot of water when they're cooking. So that looks good. There's no oil, no fat at all. You want to dry saute mushrooms, and that helps preserve the crunchiness and makes them so that they're not chewy and yucky. So you can see the water's coming out already. I'm going to end up dumping the water once these cook down a little bit, but it only takes a few minutes of dry sauteing to cook them. And the flame is up, yeah, pretty high. And the smell is just incredible. Well, once you recognize the smell, you can actually smell them when you're out in the woods. It's pretty amazing. And then it's like, I can smell them. I know they're here. I just have to find them. And the last batch I made was at the campground, and those released a lot of water. I also didn't allow them to dry as long that time as this time, so they might have had a lot more residual water as well. But these seem to not be releasing quite as much as the last time, so that might be why. Because we are getting a good amount of water, but not enough that I feel like I really need to dump it. Yeah, you can see the water is starting to cook off now. So I figure I'll cook them until they start sticking to the pan a little bit, even though it's a non-stick. You can still, tell when things are starting to stick a little bit. As that's what I did at the campground, and I had a non-stick pan. So once they started to get sticky, I turned off the flame and they were just perfect. It was my first time foraging them and first time cooking them. Honestly, they don't look the most appetizing because, they just look like brown and or blackish and mushy. But they are absolutely delicious. Look at that. We are now really dry sauteing. Yeah, so no added fat, because when you add the fat and saute in the fat, for some reason mushrooms get very chewy. I don't know the chemistry behind it or the science behind it. Just know that that's what happens. And now these are starting to stick a little bit. You can see little bits adhering there. So I'll give it another minute or so, and then put them in the waiting bowl and cook up another batch. Or, like I said, I might put some in the dehydrator. So I have a dehydrator for when I make, when I dehydrate the gourmet mushrooms that I grow, because I also grow mushrooms. I grow oysters and lion's mane, and the lion's mane in particular, a lot of that I dehydrate and then powder and use as a supplement. Okay, I'm thinking these are looking pretty well cooked. It's funny, they don't look a whole lot different than the fresh ones. Here are the fresh, those are the fresh ones again. Those are the cooked ones. They don't look a whole lot different, just more dry. That's funny. And you know what? Let's taste one. Oh, that is wonderful. Oh, that was so good. Okay. All right, here are the cooked results. This is the pound and 1.4 pounds of black trumpets. I cooked them all in the end. I didn't leave any for dehydrating, and here they are. So we'll probably eat some and put some in soups or in omelets, and they are just delicious. Bye!